They just fired everybody. They fired their manager, Pedro Grifal. They fired his top 3 coaches he brought with him. This is the end of a year and a half of chaos. I'm not sure why he got hired immediately, though the general manager who hired him is no longer there either. He had been in the Kansas City farm system. They had problems with, quote, the culture in the clubhouse right from the get-go when Grifal got there, and they weren't very good. And then the new general manager, Chris Getz, decided we're going to tear this thing down to the studs and totally rebuild it. It started with the trade of Chris Sale to the Atlanta Braves, and that progressed through all types of pitchers that were escorted out of there, including obviously Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito, who physically broke down after he left there. And then they've tried to move some of their younger players. It's just an unmitigated disaster. So they are sitting there right now at 28-91. 28-91. It's apparent to me they're going to break the New York Mets all-time worst record set in the 1960s when the Mets went 40-120. Sox are going to break that. But where they are at this hour, 28-91, it's the worst record in baseball since 1916. And their team batting average, John, is .218. That is the worst collective team batting average since Fido was a pup and the pup's great-grandfather was a White Sox fan. It's the worst batting average of a major league team since 1910.
1910?
Jerry Reinsdorf, wear it. Own it. Your franchise. Have you ever seen anything so sad?
Yeah, this is crazy. Now, the White Sox won the World Series like about 20 years ago, right?
Yes.
And that was like a blip. I mean, you go back, prior to that for 30, 40 years, there was nothing. When I think of the White Sox, I always think of those old uniforms when they wore the shorts. Remember that?
That was the Bill Vick days.
Yeah, that was like in the 70s, though, I think.
Well, I think of the White Sox. I think of the 59 Go-Go Sox, Louis Aparicio, and all those really good White Sox players that beat the Dodgers in the World Series.
And then they had that little guy that they brought in kind of as a stunt to play, right?
Well, that was the St. Louis Browns, Eddie Goodell.
Oh, Eddie Goodell.
But that was a Vick-owned team in the 1940s.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Eddie Goodell, the midget. So this, I'll tell you what, it's miserable on the south side of Chicago. And all you got to look forward to is the bleeping winter is coming to Chicago on top of a bad summer of baseball. But think about that.
Side of town.
Oh, my goodness.
Leroy Brown.
The worst. The statistics are staggering. I mean, the worst batting average since 1910. And at this hour, the worst one-loss record of a team since 1916. That's Babe Ruth era.
That's insane.
That's a few curveballs ago.
Yeah, a few.
So those are the baseball notes. Now,